I'm actually recording in 4K for the first time. I can only apologise. If there's a face that doesn't need higher resolution, it's this one. Hello, thank you for clicking on the video. My name's Steve and this is Everyman Fragrances. Still feels weird. Sorry I didn't upload a video last week. I do apologise. I was ill for about 2 or 3 days, so yeah, I just lost. I just didn't create anything other than a mess, to be honest. Sorry about that. Anyway, today I thought I'd come back and bring you 3 cheap fragrances that I think are highly underrated. So this video is mainly aimed at newer viewers to the channel, to be honest, because most of the fragrances I'll mention today have been featured in some video along the line at some point, so sorry if you've seen them before. But I know some of you OGs out there are probably thinking, oh, I know he's going to include Callum Best Original Gold Edition. Like back in the day, it's one of the first fragrances I ever mentioned. And well, I'm definitely not going to mention Callum Best Gold Edition, the original, which you can get for like £5, which smells delightful. It's got a gorgeous mint accord and it's really fresh and it actually smells very original and really quite enjoyable. It's a gorgeous all year round fragrance which only lasts about an hour, unfortunately. But yes, definitely not going to mention Callum Best Original Gold Edition, so don't you worry about that. First fragrance I want to mention that I think is highly underrated. You can get this for about £20 for 100ml, and it's a Zaro Chrome Sport. It is just a beautifully delightful, citrusy, summer fresh fragrance. Yes, it is quite similar to Versace's Mano Fresh. I wouldn't say it's an exact clone, but I mean, the trouble is with a lot of summer freshies, when they're quite citrusy, they do all smell quite similar, to be honest. So it certainly has some likenesses to that. But this is just one of those fragrances, if in the high heat, when I start getting a bit like hot, sweaty and bothered, and I want to just kind of literally freshen up, if you just like maybe wash your face or you put on then a clean t-shirt and spray some of this, it's just absolutely delightful. It's not that synthetic either, considering how cheap it is and all of the sort of citrusy accords in there. You've got like grapefruit, orange, bergamot, lemon. It's a real full-on citrusy and blasting opening. And then it sort of goes into more of an aquatic kind of vibe, and there's some sort of musks in there which really kind of give it this sort of nice clean touch. And it's just one of those fragrances, as I say, for me, I don't think there's a better fragrance when I'm really hot and bothered and I just literally want to just like freshen up. If you just like, you put on a clean t-shirt and spray this, it is just invigorating. So highly recommend a Zaro Chrome Sport. The next fragrance I want to talk about is one that I've mentioned quite a lot through the years. Not so much on this channel, I think it's been featured in a couple of top 10 lists or whatever, but I did mention it quite a lot on the Scent Geeks podcast, so go and check that out. There's still 100 episodes available as a back catalogue on all good podcasting platforms. Go and check it out. Anyway, the fragrance I want to talk about is Zegna's Uomo. Okay, stop the video there. I'm just editing the video. I was just about to write on the screen how much Zegna's Uomo was. As it was the only fragrance I didn't price check before filming this, I went online to check. Turns out it was fucking discontinued, isn't it? Can't seem to find it anywhere. And the places that do sort of have it, even though it's out of stock, have it as a really expensive fragrance, like 50, 60, 70 quid. I paid literally £17.99 for that fragrance, I think from Amazon. So yeah, that's sort of fucked the video up a little bit, isn't it? Let's just pretend that's not the case. And yeah, if you can get hold of Zegna's Uomo for a cheapie, if you can kind of get it through the Facebook groups or through eBay, by all means do, because it's a great fragrance. It smells like Office for Men, for example, smells a bit like Zegna Uomo mixed with Dior Sauvage. So that, just to kind of give you a little bit of another reference point. But yeah, it's a great fragrance. So sorry, I should have price checked it before filming, but sorry about that. Let it just be our little secret. Anyway, back to the video. This is an amazing fragrance which you can get for less than £20. I think I paid about £17 for this 100ml bottle. Now, the thing is with this fragrance, it could easily get sort of typecast or just written off as just a summer freshie, because it does work really well in the heat, and quite often that is when I wear it, to be honest. I wore this, I took this on holiday to Spain in 2019, which is actually the last holiday I went on, which is quite depressing. But anyway, I wore this a lot in the evening because it's just a beautifully clean, masculine, fresh scent. But the thing is, this actually can just work really well in the office, basically as an alternative to like Bleu de Chanel and Dior Sauvage, etc. Because it just fits that vibe as a clean, masculine, fresh, attractive, mass appealing scent. It's got some bergamot and some sort of fresh citrusiness in the opening, but the violet leaf is actually what I get most from this fragrance. That's the most prominent note to me. There's vetiver in there, which is more of a clean vetiver rather than something that's particularly earthy. So again, it just adds to that clean vibe. And then there's also some cedar in there as well. So it's just got like this nice sort of masculine kind of woody undertones to it. But this just works so well. You can see how much of this fragrance I've used. I've actually rinsed through this. It's just such a delightful fragrance. I can't believe it's as cheap as it is, to be honest. But yeah, if you want to smell really good in the office and you don't want to smell like every Tom, Dick and Harry that are wearing Bleu de Chanel and Dior Sauvage, get Zegna's Uomo. You'll stand out, but you'll still smell good, and it won't even cost you 20 quid. Next up is a great sexy date night fragrance that you could also wear in the office by all means, and it also has the best bottle in this video and probably in my collection. I'm talking about Hypnose Pour Homme from Lancôme. This is just such an underrated fragrance. As far as I know, it's the only male fragrance that Lancôme have produced, but to be honest, they actually smashed it out of the park, especially with the bottle design. This thing is, you do shop around with this. So if you initially have a look, you'll probably see it for like 50, 60 pounds or whatever, but you can definitely get it for under 40 pounds. For this particular bottle, I paid about 28 pounds. So I did just quickly have a search and I did find it on one website for 28.99 for this 50 ml. So do have a look. But this fragrance is such a kind of underrated fragrance. I don't know why it's not been featured in more videos, etc., to be honest. It's kind of got a relatively kind of fresh opening. There's some sort of mandarin in there, there's a bit of mint, but this is, to try and get this across to you, it's kind of like a sort of spicy date night fragrance. It's got cardamom in it, and obviously you might start thinking, oh, is it going to smell like Le Nuit de l'Homme? It doesn't. But it's just this delightfully sort of sweet, there's amber in the base as well. It's kind of spicy but not too spicy. It's kind of sweet but not too sweet. It's sort of quite clean. I think if you went really heavy, perhaps it might be a bit cloying, I don't know, but honestly I think this is absolutely lovely, this fragrance. I was originally put onto this by an ex-girlfriend that actually bought this for me. It was a fragrance that she sort of tried in store and loved and bought it as a gift, and I've sort of always sort of owned it ever since, really, just because it's an amazing fragrance. So yeah, do give this a go. The last time I mentioned this in a video was I said this was the first fragrance that or the last fragrance I'd finished. This is going back like a couple of years ago, and somebody responded to that video. They went and actually tried it in a department store and then messaged me and said, I just went and sort of tried this in my lunch break and it's brilliant. I bought a bottle. Thank you for putting me onto it. So don't overlook Hypnose Pour Homme from Lancôme, because it really is a great date night fragrance. I think honestly this deserves a lot more love. It really does. Please check out this fragrance and let me know what you think. So that's it. 3 cheap fragrances that I think are highly underrated and you should definitely check out. 4 if you include Cullen Best Original Gold Edition, which you can get for £7.99 online if you shop around. But I'm not going to mention that fragrance. Thank you for watching, do really appreciate it. Comment below what is your favourite cheap fragrance or your favourite sort of underrated cheap fragrance. I like to sort of have some discoveries. I've actually just recently been put onto one which I'll talk about in a couple of weeks, so do keep watching. So likes, comments, subscribe and all that shit, you know the score, and I will see you for a video soon. Take care and much love.